welcome back to the Go Gently YouTube channel. A very happy new year to you. I don't know about you, but I found these first few weeks of January slow. I think you have all these ideas to get things done, but actually sometimes things can overwhelm you and you just need to go at a slow and gentle pace. I think I've been wearing this jumper and pretty much the same clothes for the last few weeks. It has been one of those kind of weeks where I haven't had that much energy to do things. I think we often think about this time of year as this like setting New Year's resolutions, are you coming to join me, Billy? Come on. But we often, we had this idea we got to set these big goals or become really great at something, or these new fitness goals, or I don't know, whatever it may be. And I think it's important to know that change takes time, and we're in a journey of deep time, and nothing can really quickly happen overnight. So go easy on any ideas that you may be having for the new year ahead. A big idea I had, which is what this video is going to be about, is getting better at sewing. Last year my parents gifted me a sewing machine for my 30th birthday, and I grew up by my mum being really brilliant sewer, whether that was altering things, mending things, making things by hand, a lot of the skills that she learned from her mum. And I thought it's very important to learn those skills as well and make sure it doesn't stop with my generation, and make sure that I can pass those skills on. So when I was back home in London, we made these cute little covers, these sweet pillowcases from an old dress of mine. So we repurposed some fabric and found a new use for them. So yeah, just a big reminder too, if there's anyone around you, if there's a parent, a sibling, a mentor, an aunt, a friend, anyone who you feel like has a skill that you really admire, you know, be curious, ask them questions, and maybe they can share some of that knowledge and skill that they have with you. I think while obviously we learn so much from things like YouTube, I think there's just nothing better than learning things in real time, in first person with those around you. So ask questions to those who are around you and sort of share and pass down skills and across generations. I think it's a very important thing to do. So let's go home, back to London where I was over the holidays, to be with my mum as we walk you through the steps that created these pillows. I wanted to make these pillow covers for my sofa. Oh yeah. I also just thought it would be a good and nice shape, easy shape to sort of get back into sewing and to practice it a little bit more. So these are some fabrics that we already had. I thought this, while it's lovely, I think it's a bit too clashing with the colour of the sofa.
I think so. That's more of a royal blue, isn't it?
And then this, I think is nice, the idea of using a tablecloth, but I wonder if it's quite loud.
It is a bit, and also you might get quite tired of that quite quick. Plus it is nice as it is.
Yeah.
Oh, what about this?
Yeah, so this was a dress that I liked, but I just felt that I don't really wear it that often, and it felt like a good sort of tunic type shape
to nice texture.
Make. Yeah, and it's a nice colour, which I think would look nice. So let's try that. And this was the pillow that insert thing inside. Sure. That I thought to use, that felt like just quite a simple, small standard square.
Okay. Well, there's also quite a lot of fabric there.
Yeah. And it's basically already like a rectangle.
I think what we're going to need to do is lay the fabric out on the table. Well, it's a perfect fit, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because we folded the fabric in half. It's important to have the fabric really nice and flat. This is a wooden yardstick, which you can use for either dressmaking, sewing, or carpentry even. But I'm going to use that and just do it. I'm just going to do it by eye, really. And I'm using just a white pencil. So I'll cut that. Where are my dressmaking shears? Never use your dressmaking shears on paper, otherwise they will be blunt before you know it. And as you cut, you never fully close the end of the scissors until you get to the end. So we'll use that doubled over, and we'll have one side that we don't need to sew. Put the cushion up to there, and the open end where we're going to make the ties will have a bit wider at the top. We can stitch it like this. So you can use pins. Pins are quite good. I'm going to actually draw with my white chalk a line on here where to sew. I'm just trying to make sure I get a straight line. so often you think, oh, that'll be easy, you just go for it, and then it's like, oh no, it's not square, it's not this. So I think a little bit of careful prep is
yeah, good. We don't want to make mistakes to waste the fabric, and really this dress perfectly makes what we need, but not more. And do you think, like, for people without a sewing machine?
I mean, realistically, we are actually only sewing 2 seams, so it is certainly more labour intensive, but not impossible.
Measure twice, cut once.
Yeah, do you want to do some?
Yeah,
yeah.
Thanks.
So we turn that inside out, or the right
Inside
way
out,
in, I should say. Pull the corners out crisply, so they're sharp. Okay, first let's test for size.
Snug little pillow. Oh no, that's good.
That's good. When we've got our cushion and we've put our ties on, we're not revealing the actual cushion.
Oh yeah, so it's neatly
Yeah,
sort of covered away. That's
yeah.
good.
Oh, pleased with that.
Obviously so lucky that you're teaching me this simple skill, but a wonderful skill, and I feel like often, you know, maybe it could be lost sometimes, but I'm learning from you. Who taught you how to
Well,
sew?
basically Mum, your gran, you know, she really did love to sew. Got enormous pleasure out of, you know, she really did make virtually all our clothes. You know, she said, well, they're individual, you choose the fabric, you choose the style. So we certainly didn't have anything that anyone else had, you could say. And, or repairing, she did a lot of repairs. And I mean, like this, you've made this, and now you're going to be able to sit with this on your sofa and have satisfaction that you've made that, and that you can really enjoy it.
And also, you know, build up, like you feel like a sense of achievement, you get a bit of confidence to think, oh, what could I do next? And I think, as you've said before, like you enjoy the kind of, and your mum did probably too, just how it was quite a nice thing to experience in a meditative way, to just kind of have a moment to yourself and the machine.
I think so, and it's, you know, it's the physicality, it's very tactile, and then like you say, I mean, for instance, you could do something like put an applique sort of pattern on it, or you could use fancy embroidery stitches, you know, either by hand, or the machine itself has got lots of fancy stitches, or you can stitch by hand.
The next step of this is obviously tying it all up.
You could make this with a zip, or like you say, a tie, or honestly, I mean, if you wanted something super basic, this could be a finished product.
I mean, the ties are a bit decorative, so it can look a bit pretty, can't
and
they?
you can do it with a different fabric. We're going to use the same, but you could do like contrasting blue or something. Well, I just thought, because we have this piece of fabric, we may as well make the ties from the same fabric.
Absolutely. Just a bit of garden string will do to
and a bit of string you have.
measurement. So I would say with that on. But I'm going to use this initially just as a test to
length measure.
Exactly, like, because we're going to need to pin it in like that, and then let's see if you hold it down there, and we'll see how much fabric.
Making a bow here.
Yeah, I think so.
This is how much we need this length.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've cut our pieces of fabric that are going to be for the ties, and we use the sort of top part of the dress that, as you can see, we're sort of working with slightly uneven shape, but... Yeah, we were obviously determined by the shape of the garment that we had left. Like, you can kind of see where some of the armholes were, for instance, but I think that's fine in this. Yeah, we were trying to use every part of it. I mean, we have literally used every part of all the rest. So what we're going to do now is get a piece of string, because we're going to actually cut each of these in half. They're going to have to be 2. We're going to use this string as a way of pulling this inside out. So we hide the string inside there. Clever. Can I have the pins, please? Like this. The most important thing is to make sure you don't lose your string inside the... So you sew it to the inside? Yes, we sew it to the inside, and then we're going to pull it through. So again, we use the pins to hold it firmly. Just a bit of garden string, or anything that you've got, really.
So we do that, and then we do this. So we fold the string inside the tie and sew the tie lengthwise without sewing the string. And trim excess tie fabric outside of the stitch. Trim one end clean and sew the string in with the back and forth stitch.
Okay, so now we're going to do the inside out bit.
The magic trick.
The thing to do with this is you sort of do it a bit at a time. So if you take that end there,
Yeah.
hold the fabric, and then just gradually ease it up like that. You see, as opposed to ruching it all up really quickly, because it's obviously that first turn.
Okay, so using the free end of the string, pull the tie inside out by slowly working it through. And there we go, so you've got the string come through on the other side.
Yeah, exactly. So theoretically that makes it easier to pull through.
So then I can take this string out.
Yes, exactly. We can cut that off. I mean, I would just cut the end of it off. I'd just cut that whole thing because it's a bit lumpy. Yeah. Yeah. So, number one. Now we're going to cut each of these in two and stitch them to either side of the cushion. Probably about there and there, would you say? Should we put a pin?
Yep.
What do you think? There?
Mm-hmm. There?
Yep, they're equidistant.
So we're cutting the strips in half so they can be the two sides of the bow.
Yeah. So obviously we've now got a bit of a raw edge. I think we'll just stitch that down.
Okay. Come on this side. Here you go, I'll cut the other one.
Okay.
So now attaching our ties to the pillow.
Yeah, to each side, like that, and then the other half, and so you can, guide them. I think I will stitch these in a little square to make it look a bit neat and
keep them,
and also to keep them sort of square onto the actual cover. Yeah, so turn it. And again, try and remember to do the sort of back stitch to hold it firm. Stop it unravelling. Yeah, well, I'm afraid it's a bit more of a rectangle than a square, but it's difficult to get it exactly accurate, but the fun is in the trying and the result, really, isn't it? So I think cushion number one is ready.
Yeah, very
if you want to give it a go.
It is with its ties.
Could double.
It is. Yeah, what can you do? Okay.
So tuck that in. That's sort of like a pillowcase, really, isn't it? The principle how it covers in.
Oh wow! La la. Very impressive.
Very impressive.
Ties.
And I think it's always quite good as well when you do a project to look at it and think, okay, well we've got 3 more to make. How could I make that? So I think if I were being really critical, I might decide, I think I'd make the ties a little longer and thinner, I think. I mean, I think they look really nice, but...
Longer, thinner. What about you think where we place them?
I think that's quite good.
Yeah.
Or do you think further out? I mean, you could have 3, for instance. You could have 3 sets.
I think the evenness of square looks good.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to continue making these final ones. I don't know if everyone wants to watch real time of how we make these, but thank you so much for showing me
My pleasure.
how to make this. And yeah, a big resolution of mine for this year was just to be a bit, I have all these projects I've thought of in my head when it comes to the sewing machine. I've kept all these different pieces of fabric to make different things like curtains or pillowcases or covers to cushions that kind of are a bit faded and old. So this has given me definitely some inspiration to just keep going with those and while it takes time, you don't want to rush things like that, it is also kind of cool that it doesn't take too long to make this.
Exactly, and also you've got a result that you can enjoy every day, sat watching the television or what have you. Yeah, and also you could make bigger things. You could make new covers for your, new cover for your cushion. You could make a throw for your bed. There's lots of things. Come on, wake up, next craft project.
Well, I think maybe I'm going to treat you to making you a cup of tea.
What more can a daughter do? Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Oh, cheers. What's next on our sewing adventure?
What next?
Make a couture dress.
Three-piece suit, that kind of thing.
Oh yeah.